So last time we discussed that people who have short-sightedness, they will focus on the flowery words of the Vedas. And Vedas recommend the fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets. So there are many different kinds of heavenly planets. And so Vedas basically say, oh yeah, if you do this, you'll get this power, or if you do this, you'll get this. So in this way, the Vedas recommend a certain kind of behavior. However, even Vedas are not really in a good position to guide us, right? I mean, there are only parts of the Vedas that are in a good position to guide us. Majority of them are just for elevation to heavenly planets, so going to Swargaloka, or resulting good birth, power, and so forth. So being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life means like a good quality life. People say there is nothing more than this. Yes, we need a good birth, we need a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of facilities, and there is nothing more than that. So this is what we covered last time, and this time we'll get into text 44. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya partha chetasam
Taya partha chetasam
vyavasayatmika buddhihi
vyavasayatmika buddhihi
samadhavna vidiyate.
samadhavna vidiyate.
So in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment, so Krishna is saying if somebody is too attached to sense enjoyment, which is and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things. Like, a lot of people, when they have good amount of wealth, they get bewildered by that. Right? They'll say, oh yeah, this is the result of my good karma. Therefore, let me just simply enjoy it. And they are bewildered. Bewildered means we are confused by such things. Oh, there's a lot of material opulence, a lot of good cars, good houses, things of that sort. The resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. Means such people cannot really think of devotion in a very detailed manner. It's a very, very important verse. Why most people don't take up to devotion to God is this. Because we are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, even though you can control sense enjoyment. Like you can say, okay, I won't watch TV, I won't eat meat, I won't drink alcohol. Those are all sense enjoyment usually. Even if you are kind of free from that, we may be bewildered by material opulence. Oh, I have all this wealth, so it is all given for my enjoyment. So let me enjoy life a lot. So when we are in that platform, the resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme does not take place. Means that determination will not come in the heart. Very important point. The determination will not come. So Srila Prabhupada says Samadhi means fixed mind. You probably, we discussed that in many times. This yama, niyama, asamana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So this samadhi is what? Fixing of the mind. And that is not possible. That is not possible if somebody is attached or bewildered by opulence. Opulence means wealth, name, fame. Those are all different opulences. There are 6 kinds of opulences. Aishwaryasya, samagrasya, virasya, shriyo, jnana, vairagya, chaiva. So those are the 6 different kinds of opulence. Wealth, name, beauty, even renunciation is one kind of opulence. Right? So these are the opulences when we are bewildered by that. And then it's not like you have to totally shut down your senses. If it is too much attached to sense enjoyment, you still need to eat. So you eat prasadam, you cook nicely kheer, offer it to the Lord and eat it, right? Where there is no damage done to other living entities. So instead of eating a chicken kebab, you eat nice kheer offered to the Lord. So that is not considered sense enjoyment. I mean, you still have senses, they have to be satisfied. But best way to satisfy is through prasadam. And you all know this, right? When you eat prasadam, you feel very light and happy. Why? Because it's been touched by the Lord. Whereas other food, restaurant food, don't necessarily feel very good. That's because it is not been offered to the Lord. That's the main difference. If you don't offer it to the Lord, there is still karma into that food, right? So that karma will disturb your mind. Ultimately, this whole thing is a mind game. Karma free food, right? So there's a book, um, Higher Taste. I'm trying to see if that will come up. So right now I don't see it. So maybe I have to search for Higher Taste. Higher Taste book. Yeah. So different prices, huh? Everybody's selling at different price. This book in our temple is only $3. Somebody selling for $3.99. Somebody selling for $8.50, $7.50, like that. So anyway, this book, Higher Taste, says the guide to gourmet vegetarian food cooking and a karma-free diet. So how does karma get out of diet? That's the question. So anything that you cook, anything that you prepare has karma, because even vegetables have to be killed so that you can cook and eat them. Even grains, which technically are life, because if you put them in a field, they will grow plants, right? So that now you are cutting short by eating that grain, rice and wheat. So sin is not there only in non-vegetarian food, it's there in vegetarian food also. But then Krishna allows patram pushpam phalam toyam, means fruits, vegetables, grains, milk. He allows those things to be consumed, not non-vegetarian of various kinds like animals, birds, various kinds of things, bugs. Nowadays, people are eating bugs in Japan and Korea. Very soon it will come to America also. So we have to get out of that karma. And then gradually we go on to the devotional path, and then finally we attain to samadhi. So mind control or mind disciplining or peace of mind is the most important thing. Everything else can be solved, right? You don't have money, you work hard, you get a little bit money. But mind is not controlled through money. What happens once you have above certain level, like basically roti kapda makan taken care of, now you have some extra cash. Then you will do, oh, maybe I should go gambling in Las Vegas. Maybe I should go to this gourmet restaurant and eat some quail or alligator or something like that, right? Or rabbit. Or maybe I should get a 25-year-old, 50-year-old Johnny Walker whiskey. So all these things will now start tempting you. If you are very poor, then there's no question of getting temptation. Even then there is temptation, but there is no means. So you will keep quiet. So fixing of this mind is samadhi. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and finally samadhi is the stage 8. And that is what yogis try to do. And this bhakti yoga is also a form of yoga. You still need to fix your mind. So here is a punchline. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. I mean, almost everything in this world is temporary, right? Except for devotion, everything is temporary. You saw N.T. Rama Rao, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. He's dead. When he was alive, so much press around him. He used to make pretty grand statements, this, that. No, nobody cares. He's dead. Now it is Jagan Mohan Rao, or KCR in Telangana and Jagan in Andhra, like that. Nobody cares. So if you are interested in material sense enjoyment, means to Enjoy your senses materially. You can enjoy your senses spiritually, that's totally okay. But enjoying senses materially is a challenge because it builds karma and it plays with your mind. So mind is not to be overindulged. If you overindulge, it will ask for more, 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 more. But if you cut it off, just like a yogi cuts off, I say, okay, I won't give you anything, Mr. Mind, then mind will also go to sleep. It will, almost subconscious, not really fully dead or fully going to sleep, but it will not worry you so much. So mind is like a monkey, it has to be tamed. Or mind is like a snake and you have to tame it. So why they call bewildered by temporary things? Everything is temporary actually. Nothing is permanent. Houses collapse, economies collapse. Like 70 years ago, $1 used to be 1 ruble, Russian ruble. Now $1 is 70 rubles and 70 rupees. I remember when I was young, we used to buy textbooks made in America. And I distinctly remember seeing that there was some book for I think $8 or $10. I think $10 book, and the book was sold in Hyderabad for $7, 750 rupees. Means $1 was 750 Indian currency. So from 750 it went to like 73, 74 right now. So ten times it fell down. So nothing is permanent. Your economy may be strong today, tomorrow it may collapse. And if it happened to Russia, it can happen to America too. Right? Where is the Greek Empire? Gone. Roman Empire gone. Mughal Empire gone. The Pathan Empire gone. Oh, everything is gone. Everything is temporary. So Krishna's point is, don't be bewildered by the temporary things, because the temporary things will only cause you grief. They will not really give you pleasure ultimately. So any thoughts, questions on that concept? Any thoughts, questions? Okay, so let's move on. Fraigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna.
निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन
Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto.
निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो
Niryogakshema Atmavan.
निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्.
The Vedas deal with the subject matter of three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. See, the difference between yogi and us is we are always worried about gain and safety. Array, I put $10 in stock market, I need to get $12. Or I need to buy a good house in a good neighborhood and have a good alarm system so that I'm always safe. So we have this anxiety for gain and safety throughout our life. I don't need to tell you, you can analyze your own life. There's always this anxiety for gain. I need to get my money, I need to get my bonus this year. And for safety, maybe my job should be safe, my family should be safe, my house should be safe. So these are called dualities. Duality means heat and cold, honor and dishonor. You're always running after these things. Worried that I may be dishonored, or be happy that I may be honored. Somebody may give me a medal. Oh, yeah, so and so is doing such a great job at this company, and then you get this medal. Or yes, so and so has done a great job by fighting with Pakistan, and here is the medal of honor from government of India. So always this, will I get it or will I not get that recognition, or money, or fame, or name, or conveniences? right? So why did we all come to America? Because there are more conveniences here. Things are more streamlined, so you can have a little bit more comfort and safety. Nobody goes to Somalia, right, from India to get a job. They always come to America. So that is also an anxiety for gain and safety. And in the process, so much anxiety comes. H1, green card, citizenship. Oh, I may not be able to buy a house because prices are going up. Last 1 year, prices went up tremendously, some 10 to 14% for the house prices. So people who could not buy houses, they're all in anxiety. When will this stop? It just keeps on going up and up and up. But a yogi doesn't have this. That's why we are not yogis. We are called bhogis. Bhogis means enjoyers. So from bhogi, we have to become a yogi. And if we don't do that, then we'll become a rogi. Rogi means diseased. Right? What is there now? Blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, all these diseases because we are full of anxiety. Even 100, 200 years ago, these diseases were substantially less. But these diseases are substantially higher now because of our anxiety for gain and safety. It is not possible to go from 100 to 0 in one shot, right? So we have to work on ourselves, maybe 100 to 99 to 98.5. Gradually, step by step, we should change ourselves. And then what are we doing here? The Vedas are dealing with the subject matter of the three modes of material nature. So what are the three modes of material nature? Anybody can tell me?
Mode of passion,
Yeah, good.
ignorance, mode of ignorance,
And then what is the third one?
Mode of goodness.
Goodness. Yeah. So goodness, Miss Yellow, passion, Miss Red, and ignorance, Miss Gloomy. So the soul is like a puppet. Has anybody seen puppet show? You must have all seen puppet shows, right? It's not new.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we are puppets. The soul is a puppet of these three modes of material nature. Worst thing is when you are in mode of ignorance. Little better than that is mode of passion. Little better than that is mode of goodness. Because in mode of ignorance, you don't even know what is right and what is wrong. You will just make up your own religion, make up your own process. Always drunk, intoxicated, dam or dam, marijuana, like that. Mode of passion is where we are all there, right? We want to make a lot of money, we want to have big houses. That is called mode of passion. Mode of goodness is being calm and contented, right? Okay, I have a job as a teacher, as a musician, I'm happy. Somebody will say, "Arey, you're only making 40,000 a year. Go and learn C++ and Java. You can make $100,000 a year." And the person will say, "No, I'm happy where I am." Whereas mode of passion people will say, "Okay, I learned C++, Java. I'm getting 100K. Now I want 200K. So I have to learn some new latest drone technology, quantum computing, something like that." Right? So that is passion. Passion means it never gets satisfied. It never gets satisfied. It's just like burns like a fire within the heart. Ignorance means whatever, right? They don't care what happens. And goodness means they're contented with what they have. But as you can see, this puppet show, mode of goodness is also controlling us, passion is controlling us, and ignorance is controlling. Typically, when we wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock, we are in mode of goodness. From 8 till evening 5, we are in mode of passion. That's when we go to office, roads are busy, zoom, 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 cars are going. And from 6 p.m. onwards, you will see all the bars are full, people are drinking and chit chatting, some more ignorance sets in. So the same soul is in three modes in the same day. And sometimes people, especially if you are a stockbroker, then you have to wake up early in the morning at 4 and then you have to follow Japanese market, Korean market, European market, and then come to US market. So they wake up not to glorify God or do Mangalarati to the Lord, but they wake up so that they don't want to miss the action, starting from Asia Pacific to Europe to America. So they are in mode of passion since 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. And some people are in mode of ignorance throughout. They will drink all night, sleep at 2 or 3 in the morning, they'll wake up at 11 a.m. Right? So their whole life is ignorance. So what is Krishna saying here? O Arjun, become transcendental to these three modes. Dental means your teeth. Transcend means crossover. Transcendental means something with the ability to cross over. Right? So let's do this, some little bit of definitions here. Relating to spiritual or non-physical realm. So you're transcending the material realm. This is also a mathematical term, not capable of being produced by algebraic operations of addition, multiplication. So no matter what mathematical operation you do, you cannot still arrive at that number. So that's a transcendental number. But real meaning here is something you're transcending the three modes, popularized by this term transcendental meditation by Mahesh Yogi in the 70s in America. But even his transcendental meditation is not transcendental because he's still appealing to the financial success of the disciples. But real transcending means you're crossing over. Transcend means crossover. Let's see if that definition shows up. Be or go beyond the range of limits of something abstract, typically a conceptual field or division, or surpass. Surpass means crossover. This is the right meaning actually in this context. You're crossing over these three modes of goodness, passion, ignorance. So you're crossing over these three modes. So Krishna is saying, Lord Krishna is saying, oh Arjun, become transcendental to these three modes. That's an order, that's not a request. So we have to go beyond these three modes in order to understand the Lord. Or even to understand anything in this world, you have to transcend yourself beyond these three modes. Otherwise, if you are running on autopilot, you are in mode of ignorance. It requires a little bit of effort to become passionate. And then it requires a lot of effort to become depassionate, to come in the mode of goodness. Shuddha, that's called sattva guna. Passion is called rajo guna. And ignorance is called tamo guna. Tama means darkness. So people who are in mode of ignorance are always in darkness. They don't know what is right, what is wrong. Luckily, most of us are not in um tamoguna, but we are borderline tamo to rajoguna. So in rajoguna, we are always aspiring for wealth, name, honor, right? This, my family is so great. Yeah, but you are not the part of the family, you are a soul. You just happen to introduce yourself in that family due to combination of karma and God's supervision. So in Shastra it says, karmana dhaiva netrena jantur deho patyeye, means based on our previous karma, and daiva netra means supervision of the Lord. So he has to supervise everything. It's not automatic. There is no big bang or that kind of theory. If there is a big bang, it is caused by the Lord. But these atheistic scientists say big bang means suddenly there was a bang and the universe came about. No, it's not possible to create something out of nothing. The Lord arranges for those things to be created. So we have to get out of these anxieties for gain and safety. Very difficult, huh? But you can only do that by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. When you chant, some magical, mystical things will happen, and you'll get greater level of courage. Even with less money, I can survive. Even with less facilities, I can survive. Okay, questions, comments? No questions? Okay, so Aryan, please read the purport.
All material activities involve actions and reactions in the three modes of material nature. They're meant for fruitive results, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there's Brahma Jinasa, or questions on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are part of different Vedas, as the Bhagavad Gita is part of the fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life.
Very good. Thank you. So, what's happening here is living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. This is very true, right? You have to work so hard to get some money, to buy some groceries, to pay some rent and electricity bill. You're all working very hard. Actually, by design, it was never supposed to be like this, that we work like donkeys, so many long hours in office. It was never designed like that. But somehow or the other, the modern world became like that. So for them, the Lord, after creation of material world, gave the Vedic wisdom, advising how to live and get rid of material entanglement. So Vedas is a manual on how to live. And at the same time, how to get rid of the entanglement. Entanglement means what? You're all tied up. How to untie yourself and get liberated. So how to live and how to get out of this material world. If you are going on a highway without an exit, how do you feel? You're driving and driving for hours and hours and you cannot escape that. So here is the manual for it is telling you where the next exit is, how to get onto that exit and get out of this material entanglement. So in the Vedas, there are various kinds of chapters. One is chapter on sense gratification, how to enjoy your senses. The tongue craves for food and drink. Ears crave for some good music. Eyes crave for something good to look at, a beautiful body. Skin wants to be touched by a beautiful body, right? So when the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, so that chapter is one chapter in Vedas, but there are other chapters. Then chance for spiritual realization. So we are given a chance in form of Upanishads. So how many Upanishads are there? Hmm?
101 or 111?
Yeah. Names of Upanishads. Oh, this is a bad site. I don't know. So what are their names? Anyway, this list is not complete here. Here it is, right? So from Rig Veda, we have Aitreya Upanishad, Atma Bodha, Kaushitaki, Mudagala, Nirvana, Nadabhindu, Akshamaya, Tripura, Bahvruka, Saubhagya Lakshmi. From Samaveda, we have Kena, Chandogya, Mahat, Maitrayani, Vajrasuchi, Savitri, Aruneya, Kundika, Maitreyi, Samanyasa, Javala Darshana, Yoga Chudamani, etc. And the Yajurveda looks like a big list. Katha Upanishad, Taitreyi Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Srila Prabhupada quotes these a lot. I have seen that throughout his purports and commentaries. He talks about Katha, he talks about Kena also from Samaveda. Taittiriya, Ishopanishad, and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And then he also quotes from Shvetatsvatara Upanishad. He doesn't touch upon these other ones that much. Right? Then Atharva Veda, we have Mundaka Upanishad, which is a famous one. Srila Prabhupada quotes from that a lot. There are other Upanishads like Kaivalya Upanishad, the process of liberation, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka's. So this is like about the sages who always, Parivrajacharya means somebody who roams the world to preach this knowledge. So there is a lot of information if you are willing to learn. So Prabhupada's point is, the chance for spiritual realization is offered in form of Upanishads. And one of the very famous Upanishads is the Isha Upanishad. Isha Upanishad. Let me show you that. Isha Upanishad. Okay, let's learn this one. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam
Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamevavashishyate.
Purnamevavasishyate.
Purnamevavashishyate.
So this is very important. Lord, the Supreme Lord is complete. So if you have $100 in your pocket and you give me $20, how much is left?
80.
80. Yes, not a trick question. Okay. But the Lord in the spiritual world, he creates 10 avatars. 10 avatars come out of his body. Suppose he has capacity for 100 avatars. How many avatars are left in his body now?
90.
No, 100. This is called transcendental spiritual mathematics. So regardless of how many avatars the Lord emanates, he is always the complete. Material mathematics is, you have $100, you give me 10, you give to Sujana 10, you give to Vidya 10, now you only have 70. Transcendental mathematics, no matter how many emanations come out of the Lord is always a whole. Whole means W-H-O-L-E, whole, complete. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations or avatars from him, such as this phenomenal world, even this entire world comes out of his body. It emanates, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. So the source is 100 now, the destination is also 100. From 100 it became 200. The source remains 100, the destination becomes 100. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Means it has the same potency as the Lord. For example, if you do jogging and sweat comes out of your body, the sweat is not you, right? But here in this case, whatever comes out of the Lord's body is also like the Lord. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. So 100 units come out of him, he still has 100 units. So now his 100 units has become 1100 units. Because his original 100 units never diminishes. This is the understanding from the Upanishads about definition of God, right? That's why we are not gods. Some people say, oh yeah, if you do some yoga pranayama we become God. No, you cannot do this. You cannot create a planet. The planet cannot come out of you and then you are also having the original potency. Not possible. See, when you do certain things, some of your yogic shakti should go down in the material world. but not with the Supreme Lord. That is the difference. So Upanishad gives a lot of such good information, right? And then as you go, Ishabhasyam idam sarvam
ईशावास्यामिदं सर्वं
yatkincha jagatyam jagat
Yatkincha
यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत्
tena tyaktena bhunjita
तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता
magrida kasya svidhanam.
ma
मा गृधा कस्य स्विद्धनम्.
So this is also a beautiful verse. Everything animate or inanimate within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. So give me an example of animate.
Humans, animals, anything that can move, breathe,
Yeah,
walk.
yeah. So there are 7 animate souls on this conference call, right? Or maybe if you have your spouses or kids around you, that we should add them also. At least 7, I should say. Then inanimate. What is inanimate?
Non-living things, computer,
Yeah.
phone, houses.
7 animate people using 7 inanimate devices to watch this class. Right? So all animate and inanimate things is controlled by the and owned by the Lord. So you think you own your kids, but Lord is saying, "Arey Baba, I own you and your kids also." Everything is owned by the Lord. So we own nothing. We think we own something, but we own nothing. And therefore, it says one should accept those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Do you think people are following this principle now?
No.
Give me an example. There's so many examples right in front of us. Yeah, give me something. Anybody.
When folks have extramarital affairs,
That is one thing, but I'm talking about even the quota, whatever is given to you for living. Even
we
basic
are greedy and want more and more and more.
of what? What do we want more and more of?
the materialistic pleasures. Like we have one phone to communicate. We want the newest phone, for example,
Yeah,
even though the
example.
old phone is
But even the basic example. Do you have any?
More money, bigger car, bigger house,
Yeah. So Srila
better
Prabhupada gives
position.
an example. He says, if you take a bag of rice and put it in the middle of the street, birds will come and how much do they eat?
However much they want.
That's
Or
it.
I mean, they need.
They may eat
Yeah.
5 grains, 50 grains. After that, what do they do?
They fly away.
They fly away. They don't want the whole bag. But if a human being sees the bag on the street, what will he do?
Take the whole bag to his home.
He'll bring his Ford F-150. He'll open the back, the truck, and put the whole bag there and he'll run away with that. Have you ever seen an animal being greedy?
So we have, Prabhuji, we have also seen this during COVID times when people used to collect more and more of tissues and hand sanitizers and others were.
Correct, 100%. I saw on Walmart Nishiki brown rice for $10. Then for some reason the supply ran out. Then I went to Amazon to check. Same bag was being sold for $49.95. $50. Same bag, huh? Same company Nishiki, same weight. So that's how greed took over. So they want to make more. This is a unique problem with humans. Animals don't have this problem. A lion will hunt because it's a ferocious animal. It is like a king of the jungle. It will rip apart the animal. The blood is dripping, but it will only eat small piece of meat and goes away. and all the jackals come and eat the rest. It doesn't say, I'll drag this carcass to my cave and put it in the refrigerator and eat for the next 1 month. So this is a lesson for humans, not for animals actually. Animals don't have this problem. We have this problem. Like every time you see advertisement, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, oh, save for your retirement. Put money in your 401k. Ultimately, you are not using the money, they are using it. They use your money to invest somewhere else and make money off on your money. American economic system, 1/6 of the economy is finance sector. 1/6 is pharmaceuticals. 1/6 is automobiles. So if you stop all this, right, the economy will collapse tomorrow. All you have to do is stop buying cars, stop going to doctor, stop buying 401k and all the stock, various trades and all that. The whole economy will collapse. That's why people don't like, the government doesn't like people reading Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, because here we are teaching exactly opposite, right? We're saying take only what is necessary. And each one of us has been given a quota. When we are born, according to our Kundali, we will have that this fellow will starve so many days in a lifetime, so many days he will overeat, so many days he will eat. All that is there. So it's not like you can change that anyways. But our greed takes over.
Prabhuji, I have a question on it. Uh, just trying to understand. Like earlier days, for example, uh, 30, 40 years back, having a car was a luxury,
Correct.
right? Now, 30 years fast forward, car is a basic necessity.
Right.
So how do you differentiate when economy is picking up or the needs are picking up? Or I don't even know, like, if I have to say a need for it, or it's just how we evolved accepting things,
Yeah.
or uh, so,
Actually, it is
so are we
not a
in
need,
that?
right? Because first, when I was in India, when I was doing engineering, I had a bicycle. I was very happy with the bicycle. Then, when I joined a company, I got a scooter. I was happy, but now headaches started. Oil change, this change, that change, accident, possibility of an accident, right? And then automobile came. All of a sudden, automobile insurance. You have a car, right? You know how much you are paying for your automobile insurance. It's a pretty hefty
Yes.
sum.
Yeah.
So our headache has also gone up, don't you think?
No, yeah, agreed. Like that's where, like, um, coming back here, I'm sure everybody has a bike as well. So, like, uh, so how do you understand this, where some became a need and some became a commodity?
Yeah.
If I
If you have been reading the press, during Corona, lot of people gave up their cars and they bought bicycles. Have you seen this news item?
yes, Prabhuji, yeah, I did.
Right? Because they realized, oh, what's going on? Why do I need three cars? And by the way, also I have three cars and a van, because over the period of years of 25 years in my America, I kept buying automobiles and never selling them. So I had a new model, but the old model is still with me. So I have four vehicles. Is it a need? I know it's not a need, but my financial situation is decent enough that I don't have to sell it. Right? So it is a luxury. And I am carrying that luxury as a burden on my head. Now, every year I have to get a registration for all these four cars. I have to pay for insurance, right? So it is not a need. I know that I was perfectly happy when I had a bicycle when I was doing my engineering. Perfectly happy. It's just because now we have the so-called economy which builds on each other, right? Because now I have four cars, the economy is running. I'm paying four times tax, RTA tax or whatever it's called. Every year you pay that for your tabs and title and all that stuff, right? Once in a while I go for oil change for these vehicles. So I'm supporting Firestone. So this is an artificial economy that has evolved, which is not necessary, right? Because just as you said, 40 years ago, none of this was there. And people lived for millions of years. So it's not like, and after the petroleum finishes and electric car batteries all finish, people will still be happy. It's not that these things made us artificially happy. No, I actually don't buy that, because I'm not talking theoretically, I'm talking practically. Having gone through, having a big house and 4 automobiles, still there is something missing in life. That real happiness which comes in connection with God is missing. So we should not take more than what is set as our quota. So what is our quota? Roti, kapda, makan, basics. And if you, like, there is, one of the Prabhupada's disciples was saying, we say American dream, American dream. But American dream should not become some other country's nightmare. Do you agree?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to Costco and buy those bananas, there is a kid in Chile and Ecuador who is not eating that banana. For you, it is only $1. Organic is $1.99, and non-organic is whatever, $1.50 or whatever, right? You'll get 8 bananas for that price, which is next to nothing for your income. But what's happening? Entire banana production from Ecuador is getting exported to United States. So your American dream is a nightmare for Ecuador, because their kids are not getting potassium.
Yeah, same for Mexican avocados or anything.
Anything.
Prabhuji, like, you see the water scarcity in Mexico, because of a lot of export from Mexico. And it's kind of, I know, I mean, when I go to shop, it's on and off on me, like whether, sometimes I don't take, sometimes I'm like, okay, no, I will purchase it. There is always that conflict in mind, happens when
Yeah.
you get to the store.
See, all 7 people on this call, if we didn't get H1 visa, we would all be working in India. So we have been robbed from India and brought into this country, if you think from a macroeconomic perspective. Yes or no?
Yes, totally. Like,
Yeah, totally. I'm saying this is what's happening, because we are not satisfied with what is set as our quota. We are getting into this karmic thing. So every banana that you eat, some kid in Ecuador is cursing you. Goddamn Americans. Because of them, I cannot eat my own bananas in my own country.
that makes ourselves pathetic.
Yeah. So that's why this whole trend now towards, eating local, growing your own food is growing. Because even if people don't know Bhagavad Gita or Ishopanishad, they are coming to the same realization. I should not be a nuisance to the world as an individual. Right? Right now, we are a big nuisance to the world, whether you like it or not. Because we are going beyond our quota. Each one of us has quota, roti, kapda, makan. So much roti you will eat throughout your life. So much clothes you will wear throughout your life. Have you heard of this concept called fast fashion? Do a Google search or Bing search on that one. Because we change clothes so rapidly, it's only $15 in Costco, right? We just go and buy, what is there? One more shirt. Think about the entire supply chain and how much nuisance it's causing to the entire world, from emissions, from slave labor in certain countries, from underpaid labor in certain countries, all because we want to change 6 jeans every year. Because it's only $15, right? $20, $5 coupon at Costco. So it looks very cheap. But there is an entire book and an entire YouTube video on this topic. My daughter went to a course in University of Washington, so I was reading some of her course material. So the fast fashion is creating so much havoc around the world. because we want to take more than our quota. Especially Americans are the culprits. Especially. So this is what Krishna says. I am not saying this. Huh? So now you have to think through it. That we should simplify our life to a certain extent, that we don't become a nuisance on this world. Because when we become a nuisance, we are actually building negative karma also. Unless, of course, you are a pure devotee, then karma doesn't touch you. But we are not pure devotees. This Upanishad is part of Yajurveda, and consequently it contains information concerning the proprietorship of all things. So who is the proprietor of all things?
Krishna.
So when we take more than our
Krishna,
quota, your quota is 2 genes a year and you take 6 genes a year, what will happen?
you build negative karma and you have to be born again.
You have to be born again. So most Americans will take birth again because of their excessive sense gratification. It is better to be born as a poor Bangladeshi who is going on a bicycle and his footprint on this planet is very minimal. So this whole concept of economic footprint and pollution footprint, you hear these terms, right? So there is a spiritual footprint. Your spiritual footprint, if it is too big, I mean, if your materialistic footprint is too big, then you're building karma and then you have to take birth again. So we have to think about all these things. Bhagavad Gita is not a theoretical book. So what is the Lord's proprietorship? He owns everything. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Bhumi apo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankaramiti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtada. Everything is owned by him. Your body is owned by Krishna. Only thing is you are misusing your body right now by taking more than your required quota. So when people learn this, right, then they become yogis. I mean, the people who are convinced of this philosophy. Some people may never get convinced. They say, okay, instead of being a bhogi, I'll become a yogi. And yogis have less roga. So if you do too much bhoga, then you'll get too much roga. Roga means disease. Right? So in India, 200 years ago, people did not have diabetes, hypertension, all these things, at least from the anecdotes. Like Gandhi used to walk for like 8-10 miles every day. Then they never had all these problems. Right now we have so many problems, right? And as economy matures, you spend more for health than for food and other things. Almost it becomes like in America today, you spend as much for health as much as you spend for food. I don't need to tell you this, the economics of your insurance policy and things like that. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know, except for the Lord, no one is the proprietor of anything. One should accept only those things that are set aside by Lord of his quota. The cow, for instance, gives milk, but she does not drink that milk. She eats grass and straw, and our milk is designed as food for human beings. So cow doesn't say, no, I won't give you milk. Apple tree doesn't say, no. Why should I give you apples? I'll keep all the apples for myself. Does the apple tree say like that? So they are not greedy. We are greedy. Such an arrangement of the Lord. Thus, we should be satisfied with those things he has kindly set aside for us, and we should always consider to whom those things we possess actually belong. Everything we are consuming, we are eating God's property right now. We're consuming them unnecessarily. Right? We are consuming and we have to pay for it. And Corona is just one example. So many other things will come in the future. So many things have come in the past too. For example, our dwelling house made out of earth, wood, stone, iron, cement. So many metal things, yes? If we think in terms of Sri Ishopanishad, we must know we cannot produce any of these building materials. Everything is given by God. Wood is given by him, earth is given by him, stone is given by him. we can simply bring together and transform them into different shapes by our labor. We can only transform, change a shape. A laborer cannot claim to be the proprietor of a thing because he has worked on it. So just because you take a piece of rock and then make it into granite slab and put as your, island in your kitchen, doesn't mean you own it. Who created that rock? You just transformed it. If you think along these lines, you don't own anything. You don't own anything actually. Everything is the property of the Lord. Modern society, great quarrel between laborers and the capitalists, right? Even though Microsoft has so much profits, every quarter it lays off people. I worked there 2 stints at Microsoft. I know very well. Why? Because the capitalist wants more profit. 10 years ago, Microsoft stock was what, $25? Now it is $235. So they want to get richer and richer, and therefore they keep laying off people. Even though their profits are high. When profits are low, they laid off. Made sense. Profits are super high now, still they lay off. One must be satisfied with whatever privileges are given by mercy of the Lord. But we are not. Therefore, there can be no peace if the communists or capitalists or any other party claims proprietorship over the resources of nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord. Every bit is the property of the Lord. The computer that you're looking at is the property of the Lord. Your eyes are the property of the Lord. The transmission that is happening, electricity is the property of the Lord. Everything is. All you have done is you have transformed it, that's all. And you're leveraging it for your day-to-day living. So if you do not recognize the proprietorship of Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the property they claim to be owned is stolen. So we are all thieves right now. We stole God's property. Consequently, they'll be liable to punishment by laws of nature, karma. Karma is very strong. If you drop a ball from your hand, it has to hit the ground. Call it gravity, whatever you want to call it. If you heat a vessel and you touch it, your hands will be burnt. You cannot avoid the laws of nature or laws of karma. Laws of karma are also part of laws of nature. People say, oh yeah, why did this corona come? Too much of hassle. Yeah, but you have been killing so many animals. Every year in America, 1 billion chicken are killed, 50 million cows are killed. So that karma has to be borne by the people who are living here, the 320 million. And you have not seen anything yet. More is to come actually. Just like we had California fires, Texas snowstorm, Vancouver forest fires, Portland forest fires. Somebody was saying in a news article, Wall Street Journal, we seem to be having these natural events at a much faster pace now than before, which is true actually. When I came to America, we had some, but not so many. So now we are seeing more natural calamities because when you violate laws of nature by killing animals, that will come back. And since you and I are living in this country, we are part of the karmic problem. We will suffer, no doubt. Human beings are not meant to quarrel like cats and dogs. Human body means very special. You have to think about elevation to higher realms. They must be intelligent enough to realize the importance of human life, importance and aim. The Vedic literature is meant for humanity, not for cats and dogs, right? Just like if there is a red light and the dog crosses the street, will the police give it a ticket?
No.
Yes? No?
No.
No. Why? Why does the police not give a ticket? When you jump a red light, you'll get a ticket. Why not a dog?
Laws don't apply to them.
Yeah, they are not intelligent enough. Same thing, Vedic literature, karma is meant for humanity, not for cats and dogs. Cats and dogs can kill another animals for food without incurring sin. But if a man kills an animal for his uncontrolled taste bud, he is responsible for breaking the law of nature. So when I learned this, I also gave up eating meat because I thought, hey, it is natural. First of all, nobody knows how animals look like. Meat is nicely packaged in QFC and in Costco. So it just looks like some red piece of tissue. So people eat it and they break the law of nature and they are liable. So karma comes and hits in various forms, where it's job loss or family member dying or some dramatic thing will happen in everybody's life. Like I was reading an article, he said almost everybody has been impacted in America by COVID in the last year. Everybody has some story to tell. Well, karma, it has to come back. So consequently, he means we all must be punished. And we are being punished actually. See, a tiger does not eat rice and wheat or drink cow's milk because he has been given food in form of animal flesh. For a tiger, there is no sin in killing an animal. But for a human, you have been given rice, wheat, cow's milk. So you eat these things. Don't kill animals. See, some animals and birds are carnivorous, right? They kill and eat other animals. But no karma applies to them. But only for human beings it applies. Animals, birds, reptiles strictly adhere to laws of nature. If they are just like a tiger will not eat grass and a cow will not eat flesh. They strictly adhere. They're better than us in some form or shape. Human life alone is a life of responsibility. Right? And that's why only humans need to understand Bhagavad Gita. Cats and dogs, they'll just go by their instincts. That's it. And if human beings are also going by their instincts, then we are no better than animals. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyetat pashubir naranam dharmo hi eko adhika vishesho dharmahina pashubir samanam. Without dharma, you are no better than an animal. Right now, out of the 8 billion people, 95%, 98%, 99% are behaving like animals. Very few have understood the goal of human life. That is why Srila Prabhupada has written all these things. I'm sure you have never seen anybody being so harsh. Look at the statement. He has called us animals. He said that we'll go to hell. He's saying animals are better than us because they adhere to laws of nature. He's like on a roll here, criticizing us. But that is truth. He's not making this stuff up. He's referring to Shastra. It is wrong, however, to think that simply by becoming a vegetarian, one can avoid transgressing laws of nature. Vegetables also have life. So you have to cook and offer to the Lord so that He takes the karma out. Remember, we talked about karma-free diet, a guide to gourmet vegetarian cook and karma-free diet. Even vegetables, when you kill them, they have karma. They build karma. So, thus one should not be proud of being a strict vegetarian. Did you know Hitler was vegetarian? But what did he do? He was responsible for killing 30 million people in the Second World War. So just being vegetarian is not sufficient. So vegetarianism is step one. After that, we should follow the instructions, because if a man neglects instructions of Vedic literature, his life becomes very risky. Now you're on your own. There's no protection. There is no protective shield. Just like LIC in India, it says Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. That is their code line. For your yoga and Kshema, you have to go to LIC. Of course, they are marketing their product. But for your yoga and Kshema, you have to go to Krishna. That line is actually from Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. People steal Bhagavad Gita's verses and use for marketing their products. So if we neglect the instructions, it becomes risky. And we have seen this, right? Whoever has neglected these instructions, like when you're driving on road, right, you'll see in memory of so and so, right, boards on the side of the road. So when kids drink and drive and get killed, their parents will erect a little sign there where their child died. Please don't drink and drive, in memory of whatever, Cassandra or something like that. There'll be a name written there. So if you neglect the instructions of Vedic literature, life becomes very risky. So even vegetarian food we must offer. He must offer everything to Lord's service and partake only of the remnants of food. That's why we only eat prasadam. Like some of my relatives ask, hey, why don't you eat this? Why don't you eat that? Well, if I eat that, then I'll get karma. I have to eat only things that are offered to Krishna. They have to be vegetarian and they should be offered to Krishna so that the karma gets taken away. And what it will do, it will enable us to discharge the duty properly. So each one of us has duties, right? So if you are so overloaded with karma, then how can you do your discharge your duties properly? You cannot. So Krishna says that he accepts vegetarian food from the hand of a pure devotee in Bhagavad Gita 9:26. What is that? Let's go there. Nine 26. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I'll accept it. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachadi. Tadaham bhaktya upahritam asnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion, he will accept. Therefore, a human being should not only become strict vegetarian, but should also become a devotee of the Lord. Offer the Lord all his food and partake of such prasadam or mercy of the Lord. So that's why this whole Tirupati prasadam is so famous. Everybody is running for that. Because when you eat that, you don't get any karma. You feel very light. Whereas you go to the restaurant downstairs in Tirupati and eat in a restaurant, you'll not feel so good. Or if you go to Bellevue or Redmond or Seattle or Dallas or Philadelphia, go to a restaurant and eat, you won't feel that good because it's not prasadam. The cook's karma comes. Actually, let me tell you a real story. There is a restaurant called Bamboo Garden in Seattle near the Space Needle. One of our devotee friends, he went there and he ate one day. He thought, oh, this vegetarian food chalega. No problem. It's all vegetarian. So he ate. In the night, he started having a dream that he's taking a knife and he's killing people. Then he got very curious. Hey, what's happening here? Then he went and asked that restaurant owner next day. Dear sir, who is your cook? I'm just curious because I'm getting these weird thoughts. He said, yeah, our cook recently got released from the prison and he's a very good cook, so we hired him. So this fellow is a criminal. So his mindset is all about killing and all kinds of nasty things. So when he's cooking this food in Bamboo Garden, the consciousness of the cook gets into the food. And when you eat that food, the consciousness transfers to your mind, and you may be a pakka vegetarian, very good guy, very good devotee, but now your consciousness is contaminated by that cook's consciousness. And if your consciousness is a little weak, the cook's consciousness will be subduing. Subduing means it will defeat your consciousness. So this is very subtle science. There is no university which will teach you this stuff. So in order to maintain your consciousness for liberation, you should take a vow. I will never eat in a restaurant. I will not even eat in my relative's home if they are not, chanting Hare Krishna. Because otherwise, you are chanting Hare Krishna, then you eat their food, and they're always meditating on buying stocks in the stock market. All of a sudden, you'll get an idea, hey, maybe I should also buy stocks. Huh? Although that violates which principle? Buying stocks. We talked about it 15 minutes ago. Which principle does that violate?
Stealing more than needed.
Yeah, that's one. But even prior to that, there is one more concept.
The 4 legs of dharma you're talking about?
No. That we didn't talk about that today. We talked about what? Quota.
Quota.
Correct.
Quota, yeah.
Pure quota. See, God said, yes, Srijana will come to America, Devika will come to America, they will make $100,000 a year working at company X, Y, and Z. All that is there in your Janam Kundali, otherwise you won't be here. But now you want to exceed that 100,000 to make 120,000 by investing in stock market. Which is, of course, it breaks one of the 4 religions principles, which is what? Which one does it violate? Gambling? Because ultimately, end of the day, it is just gambling, right? Everybody's selling to somebody else and washing their hands off. It keeps rising, but when it falls, then whoever is the last guy with that stock, he's left holding the bag. Anybody heard of this term, holding the bag? Left holding the bag. Abandoned by others, left in the lurch to carry the responsibility of the blame. So the last guy who bought the stock and then the market crashes, that fellow is left holding the bag. Anyway, it originated in 1787. It's an English term. So we should be very careful. See, there are some pious brahmanas in Andhra who are called swapaki. Means they cook their own food. Because if the wife cooks the food, the wife's consciousness goes into that. And they don't want to take risk. Same thing with the wife. She'll cook her own food. Not cooked by daughter or son or mother-in-law or something like that. Because their consciousness will enter the food and your consciousness gets contaminated. Swapaki means you cook your own food. This is all very, very interesting science, not taught in any university. And then Prabhupada says, those who do not offer their food to the Lord eat nothing but sin and subject themselves to various types of distress. I see this happening to me. When I travel, once in a while I eat outside, that day I get a headache, I feel very nauseated, I don't feel good. Then I come back, because I travel a lot on work, like maybe go Monday morning, come back Thursday night. So Thursday night I come back home, my wife brings some prasadam from the temple, I eat that, I feel so good. It's not about the taste, it's about the consciousness. That's why our society is called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So right now we are all material conscious. We have to transfer that material, cut that word material off and replace with Krishna. So instead of thinking of matter, you are thinking of Krishna. That's it. Your life will not change. Your consciousness will change. Externally, you are wearing the same 3-piece suit, going to office. Internally, your consciousness is that of Krishna. So thoughts, questions, complaints, protest. Usually somebody fights with me at this point.
So Prabhuji, how to make sure that just offering the food in front of the deity or the image of the Lord, cuts out the karma?
Yeah, if
It's just a recommended process.
yeah, you should offer it properly. It's a set of mantras. So, Bhoga offering mantras. There are YouTube videos you can see, right? This is from Vizag, Andhra Pradesh. There are some rules given: small bell on plate, panchapatra, water pot, padya, achamaniya water. And then you say, Nama Om. Okay, everybody repeat. Nama Om.
Nama Om.
Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Presthaya.
Vishnupadaya. Krishnaya.
Shri.
Bhutale.
Bhutale Srimate.
So here I'm initiated, so I'll tell my spiritual master's name. You can say Prabhupada. Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namine. You can say Prabhupada Iti Namine.
Prabhupada Namine.
Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Namine.
Then you pray to his spiritual master. Nama Om.
Nama Om.
Nama Om.
Padaya.
Vishnupadaya.
Vishnupadaya.
Krishna Presthaya. Bhutale
Srimate
Srimate.
Bhakti Vedanta Swamin.
Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine.
Okay. Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati Deve
Saraswati Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Pashyata Desatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
So first you pray to your spiritual master, then his spiritual master Swami Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami. Then you are praying to his spiritual master Saraswati Goswami. So he says Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. He is doing the pracharan of the Gauravani. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Nirvishesha means formlessness. Some people think God is formless. Shunyavadi means God is nothing. So everything becomes nothing. The Nirvanists or Buddhists. So Nirvishesha and Shunyavada have captured the world's imagination, especially the Paschatya Desha, Western countries, Tarine. So this spiritual master Bhaktivedanta Swami is conquering that Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. Then you say, Namo Mahavadanyaya,
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Krishna Prema Pradayate,
Krishna Prema Pradayate
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Namne Gaurasvise Namaha.
Namne Gauratvishe Namaha.
So you are now playing to the incarnation of Krishna, who is Mahavadanyaya, means he is very magnanimous. And he's giving Krishna Prema Pradayate. Pradayate means giver. He's giving Krishna Prema to you, love of Krishna. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. His name is Namne Gaurasvise Namaha. His name is also Krishna, Krishna Chaitanya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's other name is Krishna Chaitanya. Then you ultimately, you are going up the ascending order, right? To your guru, to his guru, to his guru. Then you are jumping to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you are jumping to Krishna himself. Namo Brahmanya Devaya,
Namo Brahmanya Devaya
Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha,
Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha
Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya,
Jagadhitaya Krishnaya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
So who is Krishna? He is Jagat Hit. It means welfare. He is the one who takes care of welfare of everybody in this Jagat. Right? And he is very dear. Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanitaya Cha. So he takes care of go, cows, and Brahmanas. So if we become a Brahmana, then we are in good books. Hitaya Cha. He's taking care of our hit. Hit means good welfare. So you leave this, you say these mantras, you leave the plate of food in front of the Lord for 5 minutes. Then again you ring the bell and you take it, and then you can dive in. Then you can eat. At that point, it is karma-free diet. So somebody may say, how is it possible? It is possible. There's so many things. that you cannot see that are possible, this is also one of them. And you will see a difference in your consciousness if you follow this. Even the first 3 months, I mean, it's almost like, right, when you're taking off from the airport, you feel a lot of rush, huge sound will come from the aeroplane. But once you're at 30,000 feet, you don't feel anything. Everything seems very normal. Same thing in devotion. Initially, when you do small things, you'll feel a big rush. You'll feel it. After a while, it feels normal. But you're making progress. You are making, just like the aeroplane is going to its destination, you're also going to your destination or spiritual world. Gradually, slowly, surely. So you have to do it. I mean, this is not theory. I'm just giving you some theoretical input. Unless you do it, you will not learn. You will not experience. This is not faith-based movement. This is experience-based movement. You have to experience it yourself. I've experienced it. That's why I'm doing it. Otherwise, why would I do it? Huh? I would use the time for something else. Why am I doing it? Because I'm experiencing the bliss that comes constantly by doing these things. And you eat prasadam, miracles will happen. Of course, initially you should come a lot to the temple and eat temple prasadam because is the Lord accepting your prayers or not? You're not very sure, right? Initially. But gradually you transition from temple prasad to making prasad every day at home. 3 meals a day to the Lord and 3 meals a day to yourself. And if you're working, you can do 2 offerings in the Lord to the morning, and then you come back from work and then make the 3rd offering in the evening. Okay, let's chant now. Enough of philosophy.
Prabhuji, I have a quick question before that. So before offering every bhoga, you should take a shower?
That is the ideal standard. You can take a quick 5-minute shower, but if not, then you do achaman. You wash your, take your right hand with the spoon, purify your left hand, then use the left hand to purify the right hand. Then you take 3 sips of water in your mouth. Om Keshvaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. If you observe any pujari at any puja, he's doing all these things, by the way.
Ladies can also do this?
Why not? You are a soul.
This is
You are a soul.
okay.
See, this whole thing about ladies cannot do, this is a very false notion. Kunti Devi was doing it. Draupadi was doing it. Only in the last 100 years, this Indian social system has got messed up. A lady is a soul, isn't it? Isn't she?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So why can't you do it? You can do it. Of course, when you have periods, then you have to take bath after the periods, do it. And then every time you go to the bathroom, you have to take bath again. So yeah, even during periods, you can do it. Who said you cannot do it? You just have to purify
Still,
your more often. That's it.
still offer bhoga during those
Why not? Yeah.
days.
See, it doesn't mean that you have
Okay.
5 days periods and Krishna will stay hungry. Does it make any sense?
No.
But that time we are like not surrounded by good vibes, right, Prabhuji?
That is true. But if there is one other Mataji in your
Like
home,
we are not
then
supposed to enter the deity room.
No, I understand. But if you have one other lady in your home who is not having periods at the same time, she can take care of these things.
If not, then we have to do it, right?
Yeah, if not, then you don't make Krishna hungry. You have to still feed him. But if there is somebody else, like if you have a daughter who is like 10 years old, and you can ask her to offer. If she's from 5 years to 12 years, they don't have the puberty yet. After that, it's highly unlikely you'll have both periods at the same time too, right? So yeah, when general principle is keep Krishna happy. All these other things will come later. If there is nobody else at home, what are you going to do? 5 days you still have to feed. Or you can cook and have your husband offer, or your son offer, or your daughter offer, or your mother-in-law offer. That is why this joint family system is very good. Nowadays, people want to live alone, right? So many problems. In a joint family, one day one person is sick, somebody else will cook.
Yeah, we don't have that luxury, Prabhuji, here.
And it is going away anyways. That the whole thing is collapsing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but general principle is keep Krishna happy. everything else is subservient to that. Means everything else is subordinate to that concept. And even if you cannot go into puja room during those 5 days, you can still chant Hare Krishna outside. For chanting Hare Krishna, there are no rules and regulations. You can chant anytime, any day. You can chant after eating, before eating. But ideally, you should brush your teeth.
So,
Yeah, sorry.
so Prabhuji, like those who are initiated in ISKCON, they don't eat outside, like never.
As I said, I am initiated, and once in a while I eat outside and I get a headache when I eat outside. We rarely eat outside, not even in Udupi restaurant, even though it is vegetarian. No.
Okay.
So you should become very good cooks so that you can mesmerize your husbands and kids with your cooking.
Right.
Actually, women have advantage in this movement because you can keep your husband and kids in control by good cooking. The husband always listens to a good cooking wife. There is a saying, right? The way to get into a husband's mind is through his stomach. So if you cook nicely, they will listen to anything that you say. You say, please give me some gold bangles. He'll initially hesitate, but then you'll cook nice vegetarian palau and gobi Manchurian and kheer and almond barfi. And after you feed him nicely, then you ask, oh, gee, can I have 2 gold bangles? He'll say, yes, yes, why not? You can even ask a Tesla, he'll give it to you. Of course, I won't advise you to do that, but because then it will go into the border of materialism. So stay spiritual. Don't cross that boundary. Okay, let's chant now. Okay, we can ask, we can have the question session next week also, but chanting is most important.